Now, I want you to be the judge of this. Something happened while we were growing up in my family. Now, we stayed in the city area. Back in the village, we had extended families. Now, there's this girl called Omar. Omar was a very little girl growing up into one of those families there. And the story was very different. It was fighting, quarreling, lack, and everybody's enemy was everybody's enemy. Everybody was enemy to themselves. Everyone was plotting against themselves. There were no good moments. The only good moments they could remember could be something like hunting, shooting birds, rabbits. That for her was memory. So it was a place where there was always fights, always anger, always envy, jealousy. This one is against this one. This family is against this family. Even among siblings, this sibling is against this one. Everybody has enemies. And you want to know the way they settle these things? You don't want to see it. It's many times one of the most inhumane events you could ever behold. Yes, because they go throwing things at each other. I mean, people from the same womb and, holding knives and those types of heated fights and arguments. And it was crazy. In the midst of all of that, there was lack. They weren't having enough to cater to the needs they had at hand. And it was just frustrating. So there was no vision, there was no goal. Everybody was just loitering and, gossiping. And so there was no direction per se. However, just as many of us that lived in the early 90s, late 80s, you could imagine that many people who stayed in the city would ask, or maybe there will be someone in the village, excuse me, that could call and say, "Hey, can you help us with this one? Put him through school, do this." Or maybe it's your dad, that just voluntarily says it and says, "All right, let me help you. Let me pick someone from your family. Let me do that. Let me do this." So it happened. Many families did that, and mine was not an exception. So he reached out to the family and says, "Okay, can we pick Oma since she's really very small and he wouldn't want her to bathe in that community, and become part of the system. She was still almost innocent. Maybe 9, 7, 8, 9, that range. I can't remember that now. So that was the age bracket. Then said, all right. They were so happy. They were like, yes, can we do this? This would help them, relieve them of some stress, some responsibility as well. So he did it. My parents, they brought her to the city to live with us. Now, this was the condition of living. Before she came, this was who we were. Let me tell you. We had rosters, duty rosters. So we knew what we did every day and every week, right? So who's washing the dishes today? Who is weeding tomorrow, right? Who is cleaning and all that type of stuff. So we had this roster with us and we organized ourselves. We understood it. It was fun. And sometimes we gave ourselves a time. There was a time and we would just say, okay, because we had some movies would love to watch when dad and mom were not around and we're just home and maybe we're on vacation. So we'll say, okay, let's set the timer on and let's see how fast we get to do our chores, each and every one of us, so that we all come back to see this movie. We'll go rent the video VHS, right? You remember that? So we'll go rent the movie and keep it. So it was a sport, it was a motivation for us to want to hasten up, do our chore and finish up. So I was handling the dogs feeding. My brother was handling the house, the dogs' houses. He cleaned them, made them clean, take out their mess and all of that. So now the girls also had the dishes, the sweeping, the cleaning, the girls, yeah, for the house. So this is how we understood ourselves growing up. And it was from that way. Now we had misunderstandings. Sometimes we had misunderstandings, but they were not as huge as exchange of blows, throwing things on each other, at each other rather, going at each other with, stuff, No, 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 no. And anytime we had, we went against our parents and they had to punish us, there was one little room. It was our punishment room dedicated to punishing us, right? And we'll go there. especially the three big ones. We're five in number. So the three big ones, me, my elder sister, and my younger brother, we're three big ones already. So we'll go there and then we'll kneel down and we'll keep shouting from there. Dad and mommy, we're sorry, we will not do it again. And then we'll say, it's your turn. I said it the last time, you say it this time. And we'll say, oh, okay, okay, okay. Dad and mommy, we're sorry, we will not do it again. Our hands are up, we're kneeling, and then we'll shout and say, oh, use your turn, scream. And we'll keep doing it, saying it and saying till dad and mom finishes with the guest, whoever, whatever they're doing, and comes and say, hey, so what happened? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? And then some canes here, two strokes here, three strokes here, that type of stuff. This was the life. This was how we knew life to be. So it was a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, a lot of smiles, less little disagreements, a lot of bonding, a lot of understanding, a lot of friendship. I mean, that was the kind of environment we grew in. So we brought in Omar. So my dad said, bring her in and let's see how we can, better give her a path, you understand, a stepping stone, so that tomorrow she could find better help somewhere, better connection, better opportunities, and that type of stuff. So when she came, her parents, the family, and everybody, they were so happy. They were so grateful. She herself was so grateful. She was leaving the village and stuff. So she came over and stayed. Now, she ate the same food we ate. There was no food for her and food for us. No, she ate in the same plates we used. Yes, so when we had to go to church and we're all going to get into the car, everybody got into the car and went to church. There was no, Oma, take the bike or take keke and go to church. You meet us in church, we'll go. There was nothing like that. So everybody will use the car and we'll come back together. And when it's food time, everybody would eat the same food. There was no, this one is for Omar and this one is for my children. My mom didn't do that. So the kitchen was to serve everybody. And with chores, we distributed it evenly, equally. So everybody, she still had her portion. I can't really remember what she did, but of course she helped with the kitchen and the sweeping and all of that. Nothing to do with the dogs and the wild parts for the guys, right? She went to school. Of course, she attended the same school my younger siblings, the ladies, the girls attended, and it was nothing different. But though she had to start at a more lower class because of her level of understanding then, so that she picked up and then she was doing good. She was doing good. She was understanding fast. And then she kept graduating. It kept on like that, and then she got into the secondary school. But you see, gradually, there was this energy that was being injected in the atmosphere, and it's an energy of trying not to go wrong so that someone doesn't get angry. And gradually, that was the energy coming in. Everybody started seeming to walk on eggshells, so that, but we're not like that before. We were free and happy and we understood. And when we went wrong, we would have our quarrels and apologize and stuff. This was how it went on for a long time. And so she kept growing. It was not like a maid or a servant or a nanny where she would have her own room and the family people have their own separate room. No, she slept in the room my sister slept in, on the bed, but she didn't sleep on the floor or go and sleep in the parlor. And no, that was not the treatment. This was not a maid. This was not a servant. This was not a nanny. This was a relative that came in as another family member. Now, it got to the part where she started having lots of things to complain about that were, in my opinion, quite irrelevant, unnecessary. So how could you imagine to say you do not like the roster, the food roster now? You wish they changed it. You wish we had Eba in the morning, right? But now this is coming from someone who a day could pass and they may not have anything to eat. That's how bad it was. But now you're having the option to have 3 square meal and you're not happy with the arrangement of the meals, right? And yeah, that's fine. But I think you can adjust and it just takes some training and some getting used to. But to start to insist and even get angry, you know, I don't know. I don't know. So that we have to now look and treat you differently. We have to give you some preferential treatment and not care about the whole family. And then you come with that energy of, no, I don't want this at this time. I want this at that time. And if everybody starts that, everything just starts to scatter. So that's how it started with her. It was about the food. And she wanted to have gari and soup in the morning and be like, the roaster says it's not like that most times. It's either fried yam or bread or some like that's how we knew it. I'm not saying whether it was right or wrong. I'm not talking about if that was the best. No, 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 no. But I'm just saying that that's what they came up with, right? And that's how we got used to it. So we say that pap or akara or moi moi and pap and that type of stuff for mornings, and then for the afternoon it could be eba or rice or stuff. So it was never eba in the mornings. She didn't like it. Fast forward, and now we're all getting older. She gets into SS3 in the secondary school, and she develops into a very beautiful girl, shaped very beautifully. All the curves are coming out, and she's loving her body, loving the way she looks. She's just almost always in the mirror. But also to give credit to her, she was also doing well in her books, with her books. She was also doing well academically, right? At the level she was at. And so it kept on that way. And so she had friends who would always, I love your body. Those secondary school girls. Sometimes they came to the house to say hello, to visit her. And so one day, Omar said she'd like to meet with us, siblings now. I was like, all right, Omar wants a meeting. And she says she wants to redesign the food roster. Like, what? Yeah, she wants to redesign the food roster. I'm like, all right. And she says, and she just kept going on, and even the duty roster too, that she doesn't think the guys should be doing that alone, just taking care of the dogs, the houses, the things outside. They should also come in. And she was suggesting a lot of things that were like, wait a minute. So she kept on with that, and then she complained, and so we did not adhere to those things. She said we were like, "Oma, that's not how it works." So my sisters told her that anytime I came back, I saw the energy. I saw that she was not happy. She was always complaining about something. She didn't like the way this one was. She didn't like the way that one was. She wished we changed this. She wished we changed that. So one day, my dad called the meeting, and everybody sat in the parlor. And he asked, he says, Omar, is there any problem? Is there something you're not telling us? Do you want to go? Are you tired of staying here? Guess what? Omar said no. Said she's not tired. And we're like, okay. Said she doesn't want to go home. She doesn't we call the village home. Said she doesn't want to go home. So all right. So what's the quarrel? You're not happy. You're always, hey, let me tell you, it got so bad that we saw a lot of quarrels, a lot of bickerings here and there, a lot of disagreements, to the extent where somebody can have gari, that's eba, molded to dip in soup. Because of how angered you are, she would take the mold in her hand and attempt to slam it on a sibling she's not happy with. Just because she's angry. You hear the tables ruffled. You hear the chairs ruffled. She's making moves like she wants to do some aggressive stuff because she's angry, or maybe there's a joke she's not taking, or that type of stuff. It got that wild. So all of us were now very careful. We're not relating the way we used to. You see, if she had her own space, would have been fine. We'll just let her be by her own, by herself, and then do how we usually do. But now she doesn't have a space, she's with us. So whatever we're doing, we have to really consider that she's with us. So we had to change the way we joked, change the way we played, change the way we did a lot of sitting arrangements, just so that we don't trigger her. Now, my parents told her, my mom was telling her this and says, look, if you want to stay here, you have to abide by the rules of this place. And there is nothing like you're not comfortable with this and not comfortable with that. If you cannot take it, you leave. And then one of my sisters says something. It says, okay, you've gained some knowledge, some experience. You've related with people who are not just from your village alone, people of different tribes and different cultures. You've related with them in school. You're more exposed now. You're exposed to some extra knowledge. Okay, you've come up with some ideas about organization and stuff in your head. Wouldn't it be nice that you have these ideas, you take them with you and go home to the village, to your people, and coordinate them, teach them, arrange, schedule, design, draw a roster, do something with all this knowledge you have. You should do that there because they lack it there. We do not lack it here, right? So we cannot take yours because we never lacked that type of organization here. So they will need yours there and it will be a new thing to them. So why not you take all that you have and go back home and implement these things, execute them there? She says, no, she doesn't go back home. So after all said and done, she was not happy with the meeting. She felt disgruntled. And we noticed for about a month and we saw the attitude. The family came to a resolution to take her back because the energy was contagious. It was affecting everybody. And since we didn't have separate things for separate people and all that kind of individualistic treatment, my parents thought, let's take her back. I think she feels she's now grown. She can see her curves, the upper region, the lower region, looking good. And she feels she has a voice. And that's beautiful. You have a voice, but take it to where it's needed. So it will even be better there. It will benefit them there than it will here. They called her and said, all right, Omar, we're done. We have come this far. We wish you could stay here, go through the university, get married, but it's causing us more harm than good. It's affecting the rest of us here, and it's breaking the bond, it's breaking the relationship, the understanding, the familyness. It's breaking all of that. Someone else can carry on from here. Your family, a friend, someone that cares, whoever. And so we're sending you back home. So the next week, they sent Omar back to the village. Guess what? Everybody started calling us devils. Everybody said, don't mind them. They think they are God. Nonsense. Who cannot do it? Who cannot do it? Look at them. Who do they think they are? They think they can. They have the destiny of somebody's life in their hands. They were not happy. Everybody was not happy for her people now. But Omar knew. She knew very well. She gained much more. Omar was not happy. She knew she was going back to the fights. The endless fights, the endless arguing, the endless bickerings, the endless envy, endless jealousy, endless wickedness, endless plotting against this one. You can attempt to hold a knife or take glass or throw a cup. It was just that type of stuff because that's how she knew disagreements to look or feel like. She lived it. She saw it. She saw parents and siblings and other people do it. Please, I want you to be the judge of this. I want you to tell me what you think. Should we have left Omar with us? Maybe got through the university, found a man to get married to, and then still be with us as a sibling and as a child, as a daughter to our parents? Or should we have actually sent her the way we did? I'd like to know in the comment section. Thank you very much. See you next time.